Hello guys, welcome to my first makeup tutorial. This is my everyday go-to natural glam. I know it's not natural, but this is a look I do when I don't know what to do. So it's my go-to full face look. So I go ahead and start priming my eyelids with my Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I sometimes set the concealer, but sometimes I don't. I don't really feel like it makes a difference, but if you do have oily lids, then you do want to set the concealer after you're done priming your eyes. Now I'm going to take my Morphe JACLYN Hill palette. This has to be one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes, hands down. So I'm going to take this light brown shade as my transition shade, and I'm using a Morphe MB23 brush. So your first shade, you want to do the lightest shade first and go ahead and apply that above your crease. Now I'm going to go in with the next shade, which is the darker brownish orange sienna color. So I'm basically building up the color by going from lightest to darkest, and that's what adds definition. So again, I'm applying that, staying above the crease, and I'm using a Morphe M441 brush. Next, I'm going to go in with my Morphe 35OM palette, which is the all matte one of my faves as well. So I'm going to take a chocolate brown and start building that in my crease as well with the same Morphe M441. And again, just building up the color, adding definition. Using the same palette, I'm going to take the white cream matte shades and I'm going to apply them on my lid with the Morphe M209 brush. So I know a lot of people like to cut that crease to add that shade, but I personally just like to add it on just like that, just so I can have a more natural look compared to a defined look by what you get by cutting the crease with concealer. So now I'm going to go into the darker colors. I'm going to take this darker brown right here and put it in my crease. For darker colors, I do use a smaller defined brush. So I'm using the Morphe M516 brush. It's a smaller, dense, fluffier brush, and I'm just going to focus that on the crease. When you are working with darker colors, you do want to be very precise and very careful just because you don't want to be throwing that color everywhere. Also, as I'm adding the colors, I'm going back with my M441 and blending everything together. Blending is key, so every time you want to add a color on your lid, you do want to go back and blend everything together. So I'm now going to go in with my gel liner. I use the Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner with the little brush that comes with it. It's amazing. Funny story, my husband got this for me at the store, and instead of getting me black, he got me brown. But I just go over it with a black eyeshadow. I've always used gel liners. I love gel liners. I feel like they're less messier and you can be more precise with them. But I really dislike the fact that they dry out so fast. That's why I had stopped using my Inglot one. It was the best liner ever. It was amazing. It was dark. It was matte. But it dried out so fast. Like I wouldn't even finish half the bottle and it's already dried out. It was super annoying. But I really like this Maybelline one. I feel like it does last creamier longer and I love it. And obviously it's very inexpensive. So I found out this method works the best for me. I like using the gel liner on my eyelid just because I do have hooded eyes and like it makes it less messier for me. And then for my wing, I go in with the liquid liner because the brush is smaller and it's just perfect for the wing. So again, I apply the gel liner on my lid and I do my wing with my liquid liner, which I use the NYX matte liquid liner. Also, a little tip for beginners, using tape definitely helps a lot to shape the wing of your liner. I know wing liner isn't the easiest thing to do. Trust me, I have my days where it does not come out good as well, but practice makes perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply glue to my lashes. I have this 2-pack from Amazon. I buy all my lashes from Amazon for myself or my kit. Amazon is the place. So I'm just going to apply some glue and let them get tacky for a bit. Meanwhile, my lashes dry, I'm going to go ahead and apply my primers. I use the Supergoop Sunscreen Primer and my Smashbox Primer Water. Now I'm going to go in with my foundation. You guys know the L'Oreal Infallible is hands down my favorite foundation ever. And I just go ahead and apply that with my damp beauty blender. And I'm in the shade 105. Now I'm going to apply my lashes. If this is something you struggle with, using tweezers is going to help you tremendously. Now I'm going to go in with my concealer. I use the Too Faced Born This Way. I'm in the shade Almond. I love the Tarte concealer as well, but of course Tarte is a little more on the heavier side. So Too Faced is my go-to. Now I'm going to go in with my Ben Nye Banana Powder. This is the powder I've always used to set my face. I love it. It's my favorite. So a little tip I have when setting your powder, I would suggest patting it in your skin instead of leaving it to sit, because I feel like when you leave it to sit for a while, it does create a more powdery look, as opposed to when you're pressing it into your skin, it does create that more natural look. I'm going to go in with my contour. I am using a Morphe contour palette at the moment, and I'm also using a Morphe M530 brush. Just contouring the sides of my cheeks, my forehead, and I also do contour my nose. I use a small flat definer brush to contour my nose. Nothing too crazy, just to add a little bit of color and definition to my nose. And just go ahead and blend that in with my beauty blender and carve out my contour. I'll go in with my blush and highlight. For my blush, most of the time I use a Milani Baked Blush. I'm not too sure on the shade. I think it's Luminoso. Don't quote me on it. And of course with my favorite highlight ever, which is BECCA Opal. I love this highlight. I don't like a very strong, bright highlight. So this one I feel is just perfect for my skin tone. So moving on to the eyebrows, I use the Anastasia Dip Brow in shade Ebony, and I use the e.l.f. angled brush, the one that has the spoolie in the end. So I go ahead and start by brushing out my eyebrows and creating that shape towards the end of the brow. So for my eyebrows, I only apply products to the end part of that brow. If you want to create that ombre natural effect, you want to go ahead and apply the product in the end and brush it towards the front. Also, when brushing it toward the front, you do want to use lighter brush strokes just so it's not so dark in the beginning. And you're basically just moving the product from the end to the front to create the ombre effect. So I go ahead and do the same steps to that second eyebrow. I'm pretty sure you guys heard that eyebrows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. Mine, of course, are definitely not the same shape, so I do go ahead and take some time to make sure they're the same shape. And eyebrows are the least favorite part of my makeup routine. I do not like doing eyebrows. Now I'm going to clean out my brows. I do use a flat definer brush and concealer. When I'm cleaning up the top of my eyebrow, I do use foundation just that so I don't have that harsh concealer line at the top of my eyebrows. And also when you are cleaning up with concealer, you want to go back in with a clean fluffy brush and blend out the concealer just so you don't get stuck with those harsh lines. I also go back with the first brush that I used for my transition shade and just blend out again that concealer so you don't get stuck with those harsh lines. Now I'm going to go in with the darkest shades, and the reason why I leave this for last is because I already have my eyeliner on, so that kind of gives me like a guide on where to put that dark shadow, and I mainly focus it on the outer end of my crease. And again, every time you do want to add a color, you do want to go back and blend it with your blending brush, especially if you're adding a darker color. You do want to take that time to blend everything together. Now I'm going to do my inner corner highlight, and I usually always just use the first two shades of the JACLYN Hill palette. And again, just applying that in my inner corner. Now I go in with my gel liner on the bottom part of my eyes, and I also do my cat eyeliner. I cannot live without doing my cat eye because I just feel it makes your eyes look longer. So I can no longer live without it. So again, just applying that gel liner on the bottom, on the inner corner for that cat eye look. And I also do apply that gel liner on the top of my lash line just so you can't really see that lash line. Now moving forward to smoke out that lower lash line. So I do start with a black eyeshadow just to set that black eyeliner. And then I go in with the same shades that I used for my eyeshadow look. I go ahead and apply those at the bottom as well. And I do use a MORPHE M432, and I use a small fluffy brush to smoke that out. And just blend it out well so you don't have those harsh lines. I'm going to go in with my mascara. I use a L'Oreal Telescopic. It's my favorite mascara ever. The brush is just small enough to get into my tiny lashes, and I do apply it before applying on my falsies as well. I'm also now wiping off the contour that I carved out with powder. Last but not least, I go ahead and apply my lipstick. I've been loving this combo. I've always struggled to find the perfect nude, and I just feel like these two together is just perfect. So it's the Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade True Story, and also the Maybelline liquid lipstick in the shade Driver. And that is the final look, you guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I can get more makeup tutorials up for you guys. And subscribe to my channel.